Okay, so this is our assessment 2 for the unit Apply Business Risk Management Processes, BSBOPS403, which is similar to assessment 1 with a bit of variation. Like earlier, we were just talking about analysis and everything, identification. This is mitigate and evaluate. So if you look at assessment 1, it says identify context and risk. This is mitigate and evaluate risk. Please fill in the cover sheet detail. Everything as is standard. Let's get going. Let's come here. This task is to be completed based on your workplace or using simulated workplace provided. For this task, you are to evaluate the risk, complete the risk treatment action plan. Evaluate and complete an action plan. I was thinking to add Appendix C, but then I just deleted it. There was only a few much information, so I just attach it with the actual task. For the following task, you will need to access the following resources. So the same thing, structure and your role and legal responsibility, policy procedure, anti-discrimination, the same standard. It's everything fine. To complete this assessment, read the scenario and follow the instruction below. It has been difficult few years leading out of COVID pandemic. Given this uncertainty, your manager asks you to develop risk management process for your work team or section of the next financial year. You have identified the context of the management process and your work environment, identified and analyzed the key risks for your work team, and consulted with the stakeholder to confirm the risk analysis. Continue with the risk management process, documenting your activity to be able to report the management on the process and the outcomes of its development. Okay. Part D, risk management action plan. Okay. Select risk treatment option. So we already identified risk. We identify the intensity of the risk. Now, having done all the hard work, the next step is to treat the risk, isn't it? When you go to a doctor, right, they'll tell you, oh my God, you have been catching this virus, influenza or monkeypox, COVID. What's next? You have to treat the risk, isn't it? Treat the virus. Simply identification does not help. If you don't have to get treated, why would you visit a doctor, right? I'll come to visit you to tell me what happened, right? He told you what next. Treat the risk. Yeah, that's what we are doing here. Balancing the benefit of being in a business against the potential cost and pitfall is a definite skill. Okay. Consider your answer to task 1.8 in AT1. I would write it in short, AT1, and refer to 6.5.2. Okay, I'll have to open that again. Select the most appropriate control measure that reduces the risk to an acceptable level. 6.5.2. Let's be big. Just pasting that here. That's on 6.5.2. Problem with Zoom is it doesn't allow you to paste larger text, so you have to break them in parts. Again, it's the same link which I just shared before a while, which is in AT1. I mean, you can refer this, yeah? I mean, you can change the font once you are into the text, yeah? Right. Options will include avoiding the risk by deciding it's the same thing in the text as well, keeping or increasing the risk to pursue opportunity, remove the resources, changing the likelihood, changing the consequences, sharing the risk. Right? When you start a business, there is some risk, isn't it? It's up to you whether you do it on your own or you seek some partner to share the risk. Okay? Same thing goes with business loan, business insurance. When bank give you loan, they are a partner in the house or in a business. They share the risk with you. They know that, oh, you're buying in a flood zone or not. Because if you are buying a property or a business, your contribution is mostly lesser than bank contribution. Yeah, up here in Australia, what happens, like you pay 20% or even 5%, bank pays the rest on a loan. Yeah, so their contribution is higher. So they are happy to share that risk with you. So this is what we mean by sharing the risk. Okay. Right, so let me quickly go to the template, Appendix A for 2.1. Risk statement activity, strength or weakness of that risk, resources required, person responsible, timeline. Okay, this is your 2.1. I mean, then 2.34 and everything. Okay. In line with the workplace policy and protocol, come up with 2 treatment options for each risk you have been working on. Document this in a relevant risk treatment plan. Again, the appendix. 3 plan templates have been created for you, and you find them at the end of the appendix, a risk treatment action plan. They are there for you. Okay. Strength and weakness of the control measure. To help you analyze your treatment option, briefly outline the strength of each control and weakness of each measure. Record this information in Appendix D. Practical consideration. Think back to the scoping question of task 1.1. To complete this action plan, document the following: the resources, the person, and time frame. Same thing is in the task 1.1. Yeah. 2.4 is about monitoring activity, measuring success. During implementation, how will you measure the success of your control measure and how you will maintain this? This is sometimes called auditing. What do you need to do or see? Okay, so that's called auditing. What do you need to do? How often do you need to do it? And all the activity has to be written in the plan. Okay, again, quickly go to Appendix A. Risk activity, strength and weakness, resources required, person responsible, and a timeline. Okay. Monitoring and maintenance. How will I measure the success of the progress? Yeah. What do I need to see or do? And how often do I need to do it? So this is your 2.1 to 2.4. Fill in the templates. All good so far? Okay. Now, 2.5, refer risk to other staff. Consider your answer for 2.3b. If the risk is beyond your area of responsibility, you need to refer it to the relevant person according to policy procedure, right? For example, you are sitting in this classroom. Just imagine this is your workplace. You know that the roof is been leaking from one corner. I mean, it's not Frank, don't worry. But just imagine, yeah, it's leaking from one corner because it's rainy season. Can you take a ladder and try to fix it? Is it your job? If not, what will you do? You saw the risk. It can fall down anytime, but still, it's not with you. You can't just pick up a ladder and try to fix it. What if you hurt yourself? Your manager will say, who told you to do it? You should have raised it to us, or the WHS concerned person, or the maintenance department. That's what we are doing here. right? Identify at least one risk outside of your roles and responsibility. Draft an email to that person explaining the finding of your research and details of the risk you are referring to, right? Not everything can fall within your roles and responsibility. Obviously, there'll be so many things outside of your perimeter. Write an email for that. Okay. I mean, I just created here. I mean, you can write an email here or copy and paste it here, however you want. Yeah, a snipping tool, which you have been already doing that. I mean, you can attach it separately as well. I don't mind, as long as it's there somehow. It's all cool. Yeah. Take ownership of your own risk. Time to think about your personal area of operation and responsibility. For the following factors, identify appropriate control measure and how this will be implemented. Include in your plan how you will monitor the progress. This could be KPI or the benchmark. Identify 2 more. Okay, so 1 of them is given, 3 of them is given here. You need 2 more, and that's why DNA is returned. Don't delete that. Identify 2 more based on your experience. Again, you'll fill up the whole table in short. Okay. Part E, review success of the treatment risks. Am I going fast or is it all right? Is it all right, Peter, sir? Peter Usumeu. Is it all right? No, I don't think so. He can hear me. Right, so we are almost there, guys. Final part is review success of risk treatment. Task 2.7, review implemented treatment against the measure of success. So you implemented the risk treatment. Finally, we have to review it. Assume a sufficient length of time to carry on control measure you implemented in part D has passed. So you implement it, you wait for it to bear some fruit, and then you review them, isn't it? If you planted seed just yesterday, you go in the morning, oh, as a tree, is it a tree now? Is it a tree now? It doesn't happen. You have to give some time, right? You train someone, you have to give them some time. So they adopt your training, and then they do the work, and then you review the quality of the work. Having trained next day instantaneously, you cannot review it, right? Same thing, give them some time for your risk treatment to work and then review it. You will now measure how successful your treatment have been and recommend adjustment as necessary. This may also highlight any shortcoming in your monitoring activity, all part of continuous improvement process. I like this word. It's a fancy way of saying that I'm still learning. Yeah, continuous improvement. Whenever someone pick a fault of yours, you say, oh, sorry, I'll take it on board and I'll consider that as a continuous improvement. That's why you guys are here in the classroom, isn't it? To improve your learning. But it's a professional was saying that I'm a dumb. I don't know that, and I will learn that part. Yeah. Right. So risk treatment or control, measures and monitoring strategy. Risk 1, 2, 3. What are your monitoring strategies? Measure of success and any recommendation. How do you measure that your treatment was successful or was it not? Yeah. How do you measure that? That should come here. It is important to make adjustment as you continue to monitor review the treatment. From all the risk activity you have implemented, select 2 you would like to review. Compare your results with the measure of success outlined in 2.4, worked well and what didn't, the hit and miss. Recommend any changes to continue continuous improvement process. Up here, you are talking about 2 of them. Yeah, hit and miss and recommended changes. Did you hit what you planned for, or did you achieve what you planned for? Yeah, hit and miss. .8, review the management of your own risk. Finally, it's time to review your own risk in personal area of responsibility. From the risk treatment activity you have personally implemented, select just two that you would like to review. Compare your results to the measure of success outlined above, what worked and what didn't. Recommend any changes. Yeah. This was the external, this is your own personal one. Risk factor, hit and miss. Yeah. I think that's the final one. Yep. Review the management process. You have now could come to the end of the risk management process, appreciating the ongoing cyclic nature of the risk management with the need of review and continuous improvement. Right. What we are saying here, I'll just give you an easier way of explanation. You try to fix the roof. Someone. Yeah, you identify the risk. Someone try to fix the roof. Do you think it's a permanent solution? You don't have to do it ever. If there is heavy rain, yeah, because of the cyclic nature, it may fall again, right? Same thing goes on the transportation roads. Yeah, if the road is repaired once is made, it's not done and dusted forever. It might get some bumpy thing, depends on the rain, depends on the heat, depends on a cold, and maybe in a 1 or 2 year or after a periodic cycle, you might have to repair it again. Yeah, so that's what we are saying. You fix some risk, but it might come back again. Management would like a report on the process to identify successful strategy recommendation improvement made before rolling this process across the organization. So your report will enable them to roll it across the organization. Use the management process figure provided in Appendix B and the information collected through task 1 and 2 to prepare this management report. The report should identify this point. Brief key learning, what worked, what can be improved, integration of legislative requirement, codes and standard, stakeholder consultation, review of the treatment option and outcome, recommendation of an ongoing risk management and continuous improvement. This is your report here. Yeah. Write the whole report here. This is it. Yeah. Any question?